Aku.
Oke, silakan.
Oke, selamat pagi semua. Kita kelompok pro sangat setuju bahwa bukti ilmiah itu mendukung evolusi. Karena menurut Smithsonian Human Origin Program, fosil dan DNA memberikan bukti kuat bagi evolusi. Fosil menunjukkan bahwa makhluk hidup telah berubah dari waktu ke waktu, sedangkan DNA menunjukkan hubungan antara berbagai spesies. Oleh karena itu, evolusi didukung oleh bukti ilmiah.
We disagree with the notion that the scientific theory of evolution must be accepted. Scientific theory should always be open to question. By enforcing that a theory should not be rejected, it limits the worldview and scope that is possible for exploration in the scientific world. Most discoveries are done accidentally and oftentimes with an open mind. If we keep our minds closed, then it risks biased interpretation of potential discoveries. Scientists also often research evolution in an evolutionary framework, and the evolution theory itself is still incomplete, such as abiogenesis, microevolution, and so on, still has big gaps that are missing. If the answer is nowhere within an evolutionary framework, then the statement that evolution has to be accepted, that is already like a universal truth, it will only stun growth in the scientific realm. Thank you.
This is speaker number 2.
Okay, so from my point, I just want to add up to Nana's point. Evolution should not be rejected because it has been tested and supported by scientists around the world for over 150 years. Scientists have studied fossils, DNA, genetics, and living organisms, and the evidence consistently supports evolution. According to Encyclopedia Britannica, the evidence for evolution is compelling and extensive. New discoveries in science continue to support evolution rather than disapprove it. Some people say evolution is a theory, but in science, a theory is a well-tested explanation supported by evidence because evolution has been repeatedly tested and confirmed by scientists worldwide. It is reliable scientific explanation should not be rejected. Thank you.
The theory of evolution. Our argument is basically we should be open to any other theories because, like, although evolution is the leading scientific theory, it shouldn't be a reason to disregard our other theories. No theory has been proven that 100% right, even though it's been a majority approved by others. Science develops through curiosity, skepticism, evidence, experiments, and a heck load of revisions. So there's more to the unknown in science, new theories, discovery, and history. Anyone should be open to theorize, analyze, and revise.
Okay, I'm going to that fossil records traditional explicit that determine gradual change over millions of years. We can use an example. Evolution is not merely a history explanation, it can be directly observed in your present day life. Scientific has documented bacterial evolving to resistance to antibiotic, and that we all know virus such as influenza and COVID-19 that we got previously continuously mutating into new variants. Since our observation provides relevant evidence that evolution changes genetically over generation, and exactly as evolution does do that. Thank you.
So, based off what Elisa said, strong evidence does not mean that the theory should never be questioned ever again. So, yes, evolution has strong evidence, but scientific progress depends on continuing and examining and challenging more explanations. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, for science explanation, we have strong examples and the most popular examples. So, humans and chimpanzees share about 98 to 99% of their DNA. So, when these two are closer to each other's species, they shows the evolutionary that is more similar than DNA tends to be. And scientists also can compare the DNA between the bird evolutionary family trees, which often match fossils evidence.
Is this closing statement?
Nanti
Belum.
balas dulu, habis itu nanti kalau udah terakhir semuanya disuruh final thought or the closing or the conclusion.
Okay.
Yeah, 10 more minutes.
Well, we personally believe that it's not that evolution should be rejected, but there isn't a single theory that should be beyond to the point where no scientist could reject it. Since our main argument is that this theory isn't beyond every other scientist. Because technically, if we just let this theory be something that we can't deny, then that would go back to millions of years where anybody can just say, oh, my theory is already the greatest. Like, you can't deny this, you can reject this. It would just prove that if nobody can reject the theory, then millions of theories out there would just be reinforced where nobody could deny that it's real. Thank you.
Wait, so is it conclusions now?
Yeah.
Okay, so good afternoon. I'm the final and fifth speaker of the propositions, and I would like to further prove our team's point regarding scientific evidence needing to be strongly supported. Our point regarding scientific evidence strongly supports evolution and should not be rejected. Now, first of all, I think there needs to be some clarifications regarding the opposition's teams. They seem to have the impression that we, the proposition team, strongly believe that other theories should be cast out and that the evolution theory should be the sole part of science, the sole part of the scientific theory. However, we as a proposition team just believe that with the amount of evidence we have that support our argument, it should not be cast out of the scientific world. As my teammates have previously stated, there is an overwhelming amount of evidence, such as fossils, along with DNA's discoveries, and we can also continue seeing it today in our present times in small microorganisms such as bacteria, where, for example, during the event of COVID-19, scientists could clearly observe that the coronavirus was constantly and rapidly changing in order to survive more. And what is that proof of? Evolution, natural selection. It's constantly changing in order to survive. Now, back to our original point yet again. We feel like, we as a proposition team feel like the opposition team is strongly lacking in their own points, while they have stated things such as there are other scientific theories that could help prove this thing. They have not gave any specific arguments relating to what these theories are and how they could go against the Charles Darwin's theory or the evolutionary theory itself. And so, yes, we as the proposition team strongly believe that yes, scientific evidence still strongly supports evolution and should not be rejected. That is all. Thank you.
Pecans, final.
Then I can be back on.
We've got 7 minutes. Twenty seconds warning.
pro team believes that our team has lacked evidence, which I won't deny is true, but there's not really a lot of evidence when it comes to rejecting evolution. But throughout the debate, if you notice, the pro team has just repeatedly provided, like, shown that evolution is supported by evidence, but that was never the main issue in the debate. Our team agrees that evolution is supported by evidence, but the main point was whether a scientific theory should be considered beyond rejection, criticism, or further examination. Since their overall debate was that evidence alone should mean that the theory could be, evidence alone, crap, I lost it. Give me a sec, okay. Evidence alone does not prove that the theory should stop being questioned. If scientists throughout history had accepted ideas without challenging them, then many scientific breakthroughs in our world would have probably never occurred. In fact, Darwin's theory was improved through discoveries, since at the time, as we all know, Darwin's theory lacked a bunch of things. We can agree that Darwin's theory was a foundation, but Darwin's theory was only proven because of modern science. By claiming that evolution should not be rejected, the pro side is trying to promote a view that risks placing scientific theories above scrutiny. Yet scrutiny is exactly what makes science reliable. A theory only can become stronger when it can survive the criticism instead of just trying to ignore it, which is what the pro team is trying to reinforce. So, therefore, our conclusion is our team isn't rejecting evolution. We're just defending that the scientific method itself shouldn't be something that's above to the point where it can be questioned. Science is something that advances because of the people who ask questions and challenges the theories. If we stop allowing theories like Darwin's theory to be questioned, we stop learning science. So for that reason, we believe that the pro side has failed to prove its claim, and we would like to ask the judges to vote for the con side. Thank you.